Good evening everyone, welcome to Sikh's report on Does God Exist? I'm going to just greet you all as Sikhs would greet Sikhs, so Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Just get that up. First of all, apologies for starting slightly late. I know typically no society event starts on time, but thank you for all coming. Hopefully you'll learn something and we can get a discussion going maybe. Please, no debate, we're all here just to learn and see each other's points of view, and obviously as a Sikh society we're trying to teach you about our point of view. Refreshments, by all means help yourself, we've got lots and we've got pizza coming at the end, so please stay for that. Saves you guys cooking when you get home. Standard thing, please turn your mobiles off or at least put them on silent. Fire exits are to my right, to your left, and the door that you came through. And the bathrooms, if anyone needs them, is on the ground floor. There is going to be videoed, or the event will be videoed and photographed. If anyone objects, please let me know as soon as I stop talking, or just go sit behind me, then you will not get in the video. The video will be used for YouTube, so we can just promote our society a bit more. And the photos will be probably Flickr, Facebook, any social networking site, to be honest. This week we had a new committee, so I just want to quickly introduce the president up there, and vice president, which is Thakur Singh at the back. So you have any events or anything that you want to happen, let them know, or myself as events organizer, and we'll make it happen. And just, we've got a suggestion box at the front, which is very small, but if you want any questions answered and you don't want to stick your hand up, stick it in there. Or if you want or if you have an idea for a next event, stick it in there. Also, we would love sort of what you think of this event and how we could have improved it, what went well, what didn't go well, and any donations, because obviously we're feeding you. And just to introduce the speaker, this is Bhai Singh from Banbury, so I'm going to hand over to him. Are you ready? Okay, thank you and enjoy the event.
वाहिगुरु जी तेरे कवण कवण गुण कह कह गावा तू साय गुनी नदाना तुमरी महिमा बर न साको तू ठाकुर रूप भगवाना ना हो जति सती ने करया मूर्ख मुगदा जन्म पया प्रणवत नानक तिनकी शरणा जिन तो नाहि विसरिया वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Sorry about a bit late, I was just coming here, I got stuck in traffic. Tried my best to get on time, a bit difficult. I had to come from school. I've actually just named the talk God through the eyes of Gurbani. Gurbani, the Guru's word. You've seen the video of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The Guru's word, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the sixth living Guru, and perspective of God through Sikh, through the Sikh religion. To start with, I'm just going to share a Shabad by Guru Ram Das Ji, and the Shabad I say in Gurmukhi in the original script, and then I share the meanings in English. They're up on the board. Pahodi suhar purk agam hai, kaho kit bid paiya, is roop na rek adrisht, kaho jan ko pyaiya, narankar niranjan har agam kya kah gun gaiya. So Guru Ram Das Ji says that Vaheguru, that he is agam. Agam means that he is beyond our thinking, he is inaccessible to our thinking, he is beyond our thoughts. How can we actually get to God if he is beyond our thinking? How can we get to God? This Rupna Rek Adrisht, the Nara Rupya, he doesn't have a form, Nara Rek, doesn't have a feature. Drisht means see, Adrisht you can't see him. So why Guru, the God, you can't even see him, he's adrisht. So how can a servant worship God? How can someone pray to God when he has no form, when he can't be seen, and he has no features either? Nirankar Niranjan Har Agam Kya hai gun gaiya? Nirankar means Vaheguru is formless, he has got no form. He is Niranjan, Niranjan means is all pure. Har Agam, Agam again is mentioned that he is inaccessible to Sade Soj to Paraya, is Sade Soj to Baharaya, is beyond our thinking. How can you even speak or sing of someone who is beyond our understanding? And this is Gurbani speaks logic. This is logic. That logic says that something which is beyond our comprehension, which we cannot see, which we cannot, has no features. Then how can you actually worship that being? How could you worship something which you cannot see? This is what Gurbani says. I've actually missed out the last two lines. The last two lines is Jis aap bujaye aap so har marg paiye gur pura bakhalya gur seva paiye. On God about God, and you say God, He is unseen, beyond my thinking. And then Guru says that on answer. Because Guru Gurbani, he first tells us the problem, then he gives the answer within the same Shabad or in the next body. Guru says, they alone, why Guruji's path, just aap bajaye so har marg paiye. Jinanu marg akal bakhshde, those who Guru blesses the understanding, only they will go by Guruji's path. Only Vaheguru the margin, who Vaheguru blesses them with understanding. How will you see God the unseen? Gur pura bakhalya gur seva paiye. The perfect Guru has revealed Vaheguru how? Gur seva paiye, seva karke. To do Guru seva, to serve the Guru. And what does Gurbani mean when about serving the Guru? This Gurbani, Guru says serving the Guru. But what does Guru Mantra, what does Guru's teachings tell us? Well, how do you serve Guru? Serving Guru is following Guru's teachings. Serving Guru is following the path. Not just talking the talk, you walk the walk as well. This is seva, Guru seva paiye. For doing what Guru instructs you to do, then Guru says, I'll show you God. Follow Guru's instructions and I'll show you God. So something which we have to do, the onus is on us, we have to follow Guru's path. We have to take the action if you want to see God. This is from Bani. And which Bani is this from? Virji? Hanji Jab Sahib. This is the Nityanim or the daily prayers of a Sikh. A Sikh reads Jab Sahib every morning in his morning prayers, read by Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru. And this is the opening verse. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, Chakra chan ar ban jatar par nehinje. Saying similar to the last Shabad, Guru Gobind Singh said that he has no features, he's got no jat, no lineage, he's got no path, no in terms of heritage status or clan status. Roop ranga rek pe kaho kind of certificate. He's got no color, he's got no roop, he's got no formal image, he's got no rek, he's got no features pe, he's got no costume. Kaho kind of certificate. How can we speak of Vaheguru? Achal Murt Anubhav Prakash Amatoj ke hijja. The Sadguru says that he is unchanging, he is Anubhav Prakash, that he is self-illuminating. Amatoj ke hijja, and he shines everywhere. Court in the Indran, Shah Shahan Gunijja, and there are many kings, Sadguru says, which have been blessed by him, and he's made them as kings in their respective places. Sadguru says that besides Sor meaning angelic beings, Nar means human beings, Asur meaning demonic beings or demon-like beings. Satguru says that even those people and even the creation, they sing of your praises. At the end, Guru Gobind Singh says that you are infinite. How can you be described? How can we describe all your names? And how do we describe God? Man says, by the actions God does, that's how we know Him. So if someone calls God Hari, we know how Hari comes in Gurbani. Hari means that God is one who brings life to life. Bringing green life or greenery or bringing life to the world, that's Hari. Ram, meaning God is all-pervading. These are all names which are adjectives describing God's roles. So this is what Guru Gobind Singh Ji says. Let's come to the opening verse of Gurbani, which we know as the Mool Mantra. Satguru says, describes Vaheguru. Ik Oankar. Ik Oankar. Anyone tell me what Oankar means? There's people who are familiar with Mool Mantra. Ik Oankar. One God. Okay? This is the most, it's beautiful, this very simple meaning. Okay, there's more deeper meanings, but we just go with a very simple version of the translation. Ek Onkar, there's one Vaheguru. He was your universal. He is the creator, sustainer, destroyer. Sat. I'm going to break the word Sat now. Sat. Anyone know what Sat means? Truth. It means truth, but the other meaning is eternal. Satya. It comes from Sanskrit. Satya means eternal. Only one thing is true, which is eternal. If something I said, I'm going to die, so I'm not truth, because I'm going to die. Only that thing is eternal, which is then we call that truth. So we say this point you made is true, meaning that doesn't change. It was true in the beginning, it's true now, it will be true tomorrow as well. Because truth doesn't change. That's in terms of spirituality. Naam. Naam, which people probably quite familiar with, means name. The Vaheguru Naam Onkar lag gaya, there's a line underneath the Mumma, meaning it's talking about something in particular, a singular thing, is a noun. And so Naam, meaning that God is one form, is the divine word. He is known, he is one, is a manifestation, so it's through Naam, the word. Karta Purk. What does Karta mean? Karta? And the creator. Purk. Karta Purk is not only the creator who pervades in the creation. Creator who pervades in the creation. Nirpao. Dasoji Nirpao.
Fearless.
And fearless. Nirvair.
Without hatred.
Without hatred. Akal Murat. What does Akal mean?
Timeless.
Timeless. Kal means, Kal can mean two things. This word Kal, if you take this off, can mean death, and it can mean time, just Kal by itself. Akal, when you put the A sound there, or the era, then it becomes the opposite meaning. So it means timeless, beyond death. Murat, his image is beyond time or beyond death, meaning it doesn't come into the physical time or death as we experience. Ajuni.
He does not have constant births and rebirths.
Yeah, Ajun means being born. Ajuni doesn't come into the reincarnation cycle, he's not born. Sabang. This might be more difficult. Sabang means Aap Jot Prakash, he is self-sustaining life, he is self-illuminating, he is self-existent. Vaheguru doesn't have parents like we do, he doesn't have anyone nourishing him, he is self-existing. Gur Prasad, this one where Guruji finishes in the opening verse, and Satguru says, Gur Prasad, how do we understand Vaheguruji, which we mentioned the first time, who is Adrisht, who cannot be seen, who is Agam, who is beyond our thinking, who has no form, he does have no roop, no rek, he has no features. How do you understand Vaheguruji? How can we try to get there? And Satguru says, Gur Prasad, with the Guru's grace. One thing is, a Sikh is not bothered whether someone believes in the existence of God or doesn't believe in the existence of God. By just arguing with someone or trying to convince them by just mere talking, a Sikh is not bothered. I'll be honest with you. So, unlike if someone, if an atheist was sitting here, a Sikh will not be bothered that I have to convert this person to believe in God. Because Guru says, Gur Prasad. Sikhi is not about proving the existence of God. We don't need to prove the existence of God. Sikhi says that you can experience God with Guru's grace. It's about experiencing. It's a personal experience. It's not something about me convincing someone. It's something which is a personal, and that Guru says, I'll show you how to do this. Guru's grace. We have to go to Guru for that, not me to go to Guru for this. I will just now, that's the opening verse of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. And I'm just going to share a few examples. At the same time, just try to explain Gurbani and what Gurus told us about Vaheguruji. There's one short story, and the story goes that there was a sadhu. Somebody ever understand what sadhu means? A sadhu means a holy man in India, which you have a ascetic type holy man. Sadhus usually come from the Hindu religion. And there was one sadhu on a bus, a holy man. And there were some children there, and they saw the sadhu he had his rosary beads, mala kende ya, mala firdasi. He had his prayer beads, and he was using them. And the children, they looked at this old man, and he looks a bit of a funny guy, in very simple clothes. You can sort of see in the yogis in India, which wear very simple dress. They looked at him and goes, this guy's a bit funny. and they go and we'll ask him some questions. Children ask sometimes questions just to be smart and outsmart the other person and make them feel uncomfortable. So the children, they ask him, they go, Sadhu, do you pray to God? And he goes, yes. Obviously he was a sadhu. He goes, yes. And they said, how do you pray to God when you can't see God? How can you pray to God when you can't see? Can you show us as well? They were trying to just poke some fun at this old man. And he said, I'll tell you afterwards. He goes, I'll tell you afterwards. The children sat down back on the bus. The bus arrives at the destination, the school children get off and the sadhu gets off as well. And the sadhu said, I'll give you an answer now. And then the children gather together, students who go to school. They go, oh, okay, the holy man is about to give his answer now, let's go and see what Sri Sphingi says. Just kids are kids. And the sadhu, he gets his mala like a rosary beads, which have got prayer beads. He gets his mala, he gets his prayer beads, and he says, what do you see? What do you reckon the children said? What did the children see? He asked them a question, he showed them this, like in the picture, and he said to the children, what do you see? What did the children reckon they gave the answer? Beads. Huh? We see a mala, we see these prayer beads. Are you sure? And the children say, yeah, we just see prayer beads. And then what the sadhu does this. He gets the mala and he does this. Mala tut jandi hai. The mala, the thread, it breaks, and all the beads, what happens to the beads? What happens to the beads? They fall down. They fall to the ground. And the sadhu says, what do you see? What did the children then say? String. Why didn't you say it first time? Why didn't you say the first time when I said what did you see? The first time you said beads, and now you're saying you see a string. Why didn't you say this first time? And then the children understood what Babaji was saying, what the sadhu was saying. That the sadhu was saying that God, Vaheguruji, is everywhere, but he cannot be seen. But just because he cannot be seen, with Guru's grace he can be seen. And it's a universal thread which is in all of us. This Gurbani says. And I'm going to share one Shabad from Gurbani which illustrates the same point, what that sadhu said. Bhagat Naam Dev Ji, Vaheguruji speaks with Bhagat Naam Ji, says, Sab Gobind hai, Gobind bin nahi koi. Everything is Vaheguru. Gobind means the seed which created the universe. Sab Gobind hai, again it's an adjective name for God. Everything is God. Sab Gobind hai, everything is God. Gobind bin nahi koi, nothing is apart from God, apart from Vaheguruji. Sood ek man sat sahans jaise ot pot prabh soi rahao. Satguru says that as one thread holds hundreds and thousands of beads, like the mala we showed, the simrana we showed, the prayer beads we showed, Guru says God is woven into the creation. Same thing. That's why you see the creation but you don't see the creator. Same example. Moving on, I'm going to use a few examples of this to illustrate the point. I'm not a scientist, by the way. I'm an RE teacher, so I'm going to try my best. If it says scientist sing, you might have to correct me if I say anything wrong. This is oxygen, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. There's a science test. My dad's a scientist. He did science when he's at university, so he knows more than me. And we were talking last night that when you get a splint, hopefully everyone's from the science today, so obviously I'll be able to do it for GCSE. Splint, the wooden little thing. When you put the splint in the test tube of oxygen and the splint has a flame, what would happen in the tube? Hanji?
Lights up again.
It lights up. Okay. Oxygen, when they put the flame in, so to test if there's oxygen in this tube, you have to get the splint, you have to have a flame, okay? Have a flame, and you put it into the tube, and when you put it in the tube, if it lights up, then you said there's oxygen in this tube. That's the test, because oxygen you can't see. Gases you cannot see. So the test for scientists would do in the laboratory, or whether it's in school, in GCSE, we did these things, is by getting the splint and putting it in lights up. Okay. This is carbon dioxide. And do the same experiment, there's carbon dioxide in the cylinder. You get a splint and it's got flame. You put the splint in, what would happen to the flame?
Burn out.
Anji?
It will burn out.
It would burn out, okay. It would burn out. that's then you know, okay, there's carbon dioxide in here because it's burned out. If it's hydrogen and you had a flame and a splint and you put it in the tube, what would happen? And it would pop, it would be explosion. Okay. So, all of these things, just to clarify, you cannot see. Nor can you see oxygen, nor can you see carbon dioxide, nor can you see hydrogen. And one thing is that, just to dismiss this, I can't see, it must not exist. No, scientists say, we understand there's things we can't see, but there are tests to see that we can understand that there. And the test is that in a laboratory, you don't just do this in the living room or something. Yes, you have to keep all the factors, variables all the same. So you'd use these tests. So, to remind me, I just put that down as well, just in case I forget. So fire burns up explosion. So, how can you see oxygen? If someone asks a question, how do you see oxygen? And the answer would be that you have to, in the laboratory, you have to make a test environment. So you have to make the environment correct. You have to make sure, so it can't be like dirty tubes and you can't get the. It needs to be fully, the conditions need to be all okay. And when you're in this correct environment within this laboratory, you do this test and then you find out what oxygen is. And someone asked someone to, it was in India, there was these communists, and they asked a Gyaniji, the Gyaniji was a science teacher, and they asked the Gyaniji, can you, there's a anam being given, anam de reya, anam means there's a prize being given by the communists, that if anyone can prove God, that they will get a prize, they will get some reward, this money. And Gyaniji, can you, he's a Sikh learned man, he goes, can you go and you believe in God, tell us. And Gyaniji was a science teacher, so he said, look, he explained this and then said, that you can experience God. Again, it's not about believing God. Sikhs are not interested whether someone believes in God or doesn't believe. We're not interested, sorry. It's about experiencing God, and that's something you yourself have to experience. And Gyaniji said, if you get the correct, just like you have to get the lab and you have to have the right conditions, and then you have to go through the process. Same thing, bring the person, he has to be put into this process and in the right conditions, in a lab type thing, and only then is possible. And then they go, okay, then they left the Gyaniji. Meaning that one thing is sometimes when we think of Vaheguruji, but we are not bothered to do anything. We say, okay, Vaheguruji, we can't see you, but then we don't realize Guru Mata says, Guru's teaching says that there's a process you have to go through, and there's something you have to go through, just as there's a process involved in science and seeing the unseen. I'm going to share one story from Janam Sakhi, share one story from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life, which is seeing this life of Guru Nanak Dev Ji animation. Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes to Baghdad, which in English you say Baghdad. And in Baghdad, when Guru goes there in Iraq, Guru Nanak Dev Ji meets a Muslim saint called Dastagir. And Dastagir, he was like the ruler of the local area, and he was very well respected, treated like just of some high authority. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji was there, and you all know the story that Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Patala, Patala, Agasa, Agas, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is reciting Japji Sahib and says the verses that there are thousands upon thousands of galaxies, there are thousands upon thousands upon universes, and then the local Muslims that get offended, they know there are only 7 heavens. Who is this man to say there's thousands of heavens and thousands of skies? Who is this to say that there's many of these, and thousands of planets? And they start questioning Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It was not a very pleasant encounter with Guru Nanak Dev Ji. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to preach, some people would greet him with hostility. They would throw stones at Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They would slander him. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji, at this particular time, Dastagir, he welcomes Guru Nanak Dev Ji to his court, to his darbar. Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes to Dastagir's darbar. Darbar jande and Dastagir 10 swal puchta. He asks 3 questions. And the 3 questions are put up here. The 3 questions he asked Guruji are, what was before God? How do we get God? And what can God do? These are the 3 questions. Guru Nanak Pasha, he listens to these questions. And Guru Nanak Pasha first gives the answer to the first one, what was before God? He asks Dastagir, he goes, count for me. Count. So in his language, he starts counting. So how would he start? How would he start? 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, okay. Okay, tu bhul gaya. You've forgotten. Dobara das. You've forgotten, so repeat again. Because Midans probably didn't hear me correctly. So what did Dastagir probably say again? 1, 2, 3, 4, count. See, he said count. Count from the beginning. From the beginning. I did count. Tu bhul gaya. Dobara shuru pehla to shuru kar. Start from the beginning. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It carries on. And then Dastagir says, please explain. He goes, what becomes before 1? Ek to pehla ki onda. Kande ek to pehla nahi onda. Nothing comes before 1. Dastagir said. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, nothing comes before God. That's your answer to your first question. How do we get God? He goes, Dastagir ek dudh da bhanda liya. Bring a vessel of milk. And Dastagir brings this in front of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, a vessel of milk. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that, what do you see in there? What did Yakani said? What did he see in there?
Milk.
Milk. He said, I see milk in this vessel. He said, no, there isn't. Look again. And Dastagir puts his hand in the milk and says, there's milk in here, there's nothing else. So puts his hand in the milk and says, there's nothing else, it's milk. And he said, there's something else in here. He said, no, I can't see it. He goes, there's butter in here. In the milk, there's butter. And he puts his hand again and says, I can't see the butter, I can't feel the butter. Then he realizes, Guru Nanak Dev says, there's a process. To make milk, the butter is within the milk, but there's a process involved. Anyone know how do you make butter?
Churn.
And you churn. And no jog lona penda. Jog means rennet. Jog, which we say in Punjabi, in English called rennet. So first is you warm the dudh. You warm it up, warm the milk up, and then if you jog, and then the cream, the utto churn karke, then you make butter. And he goes, this is a process. And he goes, similar to how do we get to God? There's a process. Waheguru is inside of you. God is not outside in the seventh sky or in the sky. You're looking up and saying, where is God? Or God is not in the jungle. Waheguru Ji is inside of you, where it involves a process for you to manifest what's inside. The divine inside of you, you have to go for a process. The milk has butter inside, he has yogurt inside, he has mithai inside. Everything is within the milk, but for it to manifest, for it to become visible, there's a process involved. Okay. The last one is, what can God do? Rab ki kar sakda? Rab ki kar sakda? And Guru Nanak Pasha says, for this answer, Dastagir, you will have to stand where I am standing and I have to sit where you are. Just to get the answer. He goes, I'll do that. So Dastagir gets up off his throne. So he gets off his throne and goes downstairs, the few steps. And Guru Nanak Pasha goes up the few steps and sits on his throne. And he goes, so what's the answer? Because this is your answer. Anyone? I don't know if anyone got the answer.
Yeah. God can make me the king.
In 1 second, God can make the king into a beggar and the beggar into a king. This is God's power. Ek raja nu Pukhari bana sakta, to Pukhari nu raja khin vich bana sak, ye Rab di shakti hai. This is what God can do. And then Dastagir, he became a follower of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and even today in Baghdad, there is a Gurdwara Sahib there in memory of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. You can look on the internet, there's some pictures there where the local Muslim attendant, custodians, they look after the shrine in memory of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. This, I don't know, anyone know this personality? Anyone read or know of this personality? It's a Sikh saint called Baba Harnam Singh, and he was from the village Rampur Khera in India. He passed away, I remember, in the early 80s. Baba Harnam Singh, I was reading his books you can find in English. It's a very good, easy to read book, which is quite, I remember, I think, reading it on the journey going to university. I used to read it. It's quite nice, you can read on the train or on the bus. It's quite an enjoyable book. And Baba Harnam, he talks about his written by Seva Singh, his one of his followers or people who looked up to him. And there's one incident which talks about Dr. Keertan Singh. Dr. Keertan Singh was an atheist, a medical practitioner, And he didn't believe in God, he was a communist. And he decided to meet Babaji and ask him some questions. And he goes, oh, we'll go and meet this holy man and test him out and, try to, ask him some challenging questions and outsmart Babaji. He didn't go with bhavana, with devotion to see him. He actually went there to outsmart Babaji. And this is the conversation which is taken from the book. He says, he who nobody has ever seen and who cannot be seen with eyes, who there is no evidence of and who nobody has ever been able to show, these people call him God and become worshipping him. People call him by many names. They pray to him in the mornings and in the evenings. How can anyone have faith in something which there is no evidence of existing? What can he grant you? Yes, many have gained a great deal by putting this superstition in people's minds. Very straightforward to Babaji. He asked this question to Baba Harnam Singh, Rampur Kirawal. Now, I'm going to summarize what the chapter says. The whole chapter on this you can read in your own time. This is an online book as well, you can read as well. Baba Harnampur first gives the example of chilies. He goes, so doctor, you only believe in what you see with your eyes? He goes, yes. Whatever I see in my eyes, I only believe in that, nothing else. Okay. Then Babaji says, there's a chili which called English. With mercha or chili, he goes, just by looking at it, can you tell that it's spicy? Can you just by looking at it, no, you have to taste it. You have to taste the chili and then you find out that it is spicy, that is chili, that is okori. So he goes, you can't see that, but you have to taste it. Where Babaji's going, you have to taste it, experience it yourself, only then you can tell it's spicy. Just by looking by the physical eyes, you cannot tell that this is spicy. Second example Babaji uses is medicine. And just by looking at a bottle or just looking at medicine, you cannot tell that this medicine is bitter. This medicine is bitter, you cannot tell just by looking at the medicine. You have to taste the medicine and go, this is sweet. Or you go, and you say, oh, this is disgusting, it's really bitter. You have to taste it. So Babaji uses these two examples to explain that you have to experience or taste, just that you have to taste these things to have the experience and knowledge. You have to experience Vaheguruji to know of Vaheguruji. And a few more examples, and then he actually gives a comeback reply. Dr. Keertan Singh, he actually challenges Babaji again. One thing I was invited to open evening for sixth form. I was invited back to my old sixth form where I used to study, and it was an open evening for different religions. It was actually between a humanist, the three speakers were humanist, it was a Muslim and a Christian, and I was just there as a visitor, just because of my school, and my old RE teacher said, come along, it'll be nice for you as a Sikh to come along. Even though there's no Sikh speaker, you can just be there and just help out. It'd be nice for students to find out about Sikhs, because where I live there are not many Sikhs. So I went there, and I remember the humanist lady. She was very nice, but she was a bit abrupt when giving a message. I remember some of the students, I was in one of their workshops, and said, sir, I don't believe in God, but I found that lady an extremist. She was just pushing her views on us, and I found her really, in my face. Do you know what we sometimes see as people who are pushing religion in people's faces? They found that with the humanist, which is an interesting observation. And I found some of her ways she was coming across to undermine the Muslim and the Christian. Even though I'm not a Muslim or Christian, I still felt I felt concerned, and I felt sorry that these people are made to feel embarrassed and put in an awkward position with their questioning in front of all these students by the humanist on the panel. And the humanist said, she started off with something saying, she's a bit taking the mick kind of thing. She goes, by the way, guys, in my garage, there's this green thing in there. I went in the garage, and the green thing, smoke comes out of its nose, it's green, it's really, really big, and I call it a dragon. But the thing is, guys, you can't see it, only I can see it. And she was using that to undermine the Christian and Muslim saying they believed in God. And I just felt really bad for these people. So she goes, it's ridiculous. She was so straight, and one thing is, I don't agree with what somebody else says, but one thing is human respect and dignity we should give to all, whatever anybody believes. So whether someone is an atheist or is a Muslim or a Christian or any other religion, one thing everybody deserves is love and respect. Tolerance is putting up with somebody. That's not what Sikh believes. Sikhs are not tolerant people, we are loving people. Don't tolerate someone, put up with somebody, you love them. There's a subtle difference in the wording there. So I felt a bit concerned. I asked my RV teacher, sir, can I just speak? I just feel really like I need to speak. And he said, yeah, man, we go and speak at the, go to the front and you can share your thoughts. And I said, well, I'm not a Christian, nor am I Muslim, but I just feel slightly, you know, a bit, I feel sorry for them, or I said I feel a bit concerned how they've been, you know, targeted here. And I just said one small example. I just said there was a, quite directly, that if whatever you cannot see, you cannot believe, and anyone who believes in something they can't see, you are, basically, she said straight, you are mental. You've got mental health issues. But I just said to the students there, and I just said, it was everybody sitting like you're sitting today, and I said, can we see atoms? Can anyone see atoms? If someone says what this is a picture of, what would you say? Is it a way? Atom. But it's not. This is a drawing to represent what an atom looks like, or just to help us understand, but that's not actually what an atom looks like. Everybody understand that, yeah? That atom does not look like that. Even though I'm not very good at science, even I understand that much. Okay, so we can't see atoms, but we know they are there. I use my mobile. My mobile's actually dead now. That's my battery whilst coming here. But when you're sending a text message to somebody, okay, you're texting someone, and imagine VG sitting there and I send a text to VG, and VG gets the text. You have received a text. No one can see a text is flying. Oh, okay, I'm flying. Message is flying. You can't see the message flying. It's unseen. But I didn't see, so I don't believe it. But we don't do that with telecommunication. Microwaves, no one sees these red things coming in the microwave. No one sees that in the microwave. True? Microwaves are invisible, but it warms things up. Then you see, when you satellite dish, you have Sky, you know, you might watch different, you know, satellite channels. Satellite signals you cannot see either. But the invisible, it actually gives us, you can watch, on one remote control, you can watch hundreds of channels, by some which you cannot see, and that's what provided that. I'll just give one few examples, just say, okay, fair enough, you don't believe in God. It doesn't really bother me. I'm not bothered, to be honest. Good, you know, I respect you anyway as a human being. I'm not bothered. As a Sikh, we're supposed to love everybody regardless. But I was just concerned at her, how she just totally just said, okay, anybody believes anything, and they're just totally mad. I said we should have an open mind. And it was amazing. All the students which I had in my workshop, which I sat in and just help out, which some of them were agnostics or were atheists, they actually started applauding and they said, oh, thanks. And they just came back afterwards and said, we actually, thanks for that, because a bit of open-mindedness was shown there. And I think that's what all we have to show to everybody, open-mindedness and respect when talking to anybody, really. Using other senses, what the Dr. Keertan Singh replied, he goes, hold on. The examples you've given me, so what examples did Babaji give? 2 examples he gave?
Chilies and medicine.
Chilies and medicine, okay. He said, you can, there is evidence of that. Which organ, sensory organ would you use? Sorry? Taste. Taste sensory organ, that's evidence. And he goes, one thing is, Babaji, you cannot see God through sensory organs. Or you can experience God through sensory organs, or see God through sensory organs. So where you can, through tasting chilies or tasting medicine, know it's bitter or it's chili, you can't use the same sensory organs to say about God. So he said, I don't think that's a suitable example. So then Babaji uses this example, which Guru Nanak Dev Ji used, of the milk. He said, when you look at milk, you just see just a white substance, milk. But within the milk is contained butter, within the milk is contained yogurt. But to get there, to get from here to here, all it requires is a process. A process. You have to do some effort. You have to warm up the milk, you have to add the jar, then you have to churn it, and then you will get the butter. So it's the process. And he goes, Dr. Keertan Singh, God is within you, but it requires a process. Through Guru's grace, through going to the Guru, Guru will give you his understanding. There's a process involved and you have to follow Guru's instructions. But then at the end, Dr. Keertan Singh, at the end of the conversation, he does accept and actually takes Amrit. He experiences God and he actually takes Amrit. And this is one thing what Gurbani says, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, what Baba Ji uses example, Gurbani similar uses example. Sagal ban sapat mein hai santar sagal doodh mein kiya. That within this, we're going to focus on this one. Sagal doodh mein kiya, that there's within the milk there's pure, there's ghee butter. And within all the vegetation, with all of the vegetation, there is a fragrance. Within the high and within low, the God's light shines in everybody. It exists. The light of God is within everyone, and He exists in everyone. Santo within the saints, Vaheguru can be experienced each every cell. The Vaheguru is pervading everywhere within the land and within the water. And then this line is key line. How will you see God? And this is what Baba Harnam Singh quoted this Shabad and said to Dr. Keertan Singh, the process. Do you talk about the process of the milk and the butter? The process, Babaji said, Gun Nadan Nanak Jas Gave Satgur Param Chakayo. This is the key line of made in red. The process which he says, which Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, and Babaji quoted to Dr. Keertan Singh is, you have to sing the praises, the treasure of God's praises, sing His virtues, sing His praises. By singing His praises, your delusion, the delusion which you have in your mind, the doubts in your mind, they will be released. By going doing the spiritual activity, you will be able to experience. And what will you experience? You experience the Vaheguru who is everywhere within us, and He is pervading all places. Moving on then. So, Gurbani, I forgot to, the font unfortunately I picked up, but Gurbani says what type of mind frame do you need for this process? So when you're having this process, through this process, that you have lab conditions, Gurbani says, if you will only center yourself on the Lord, even for just a breath, then you shall see the Lord face to face, present before you. Serve the Lord forever. Use your eyes and see Him ever present everywhere. One thing is, just by singing Vaheguruji's praises, you will not one instant say, oh, I've had darshan of Vaheguru. Even if you take Amrit, it does not mean you have darshan. Darshan means you have the full glimpse, full manifest glory of God, in the full manifest you will not see necessarily. You will have, when you sing Vaheguruji's praises, when you follow the spiritual path, when you follow Guru's teachings, Guru Dimat, Guru Prasad, when you follow that, Gurbani tells us that you will feel God's presence, you will feel God, you will experience God. So you will have an experience, but it doesn't mean that you actually see Him. That's further on. So first you'll have spiritual experiences, you will feel the nearness of God, you'll feel God, you experience God, and seeing God, the unseen being seen, Adrish, Agochar, Papraya Gur Shabdi, is only through tireless spiritual meditation and going through the practice. Only later on, after much effort, can you actually get to that stage, which is far off. So moving on, of personal experience, I'm sure that some Sikhs would be familiar with this personality. It's Bhai Sahib Ranveer Singh, who his main life is based around British India, and he spent 15 years in prison during British India because he was a freedom fighter, and he was arrested and put in prison in the second Lahore conspiracy case by the British. And Bhai Sahib was kept for, if I remember correctly, 8 years in solitary confinement, the Kal Kotri, which we call it in Punjabi. He was kept in solitary confinement for 8 years. I'm just going to share this Shabad and then talk about Bhai Sahib. Guruji says, Nikta suno ar pekho nahi, param param dukh parya, hoye karpar gullahe pardo, milo lal manvariya. I hear that you are near, but I cannot see you. I wander in suffering, deluded by doubt. The Guru has become merciful to me. He has removed the veils. Meeting my beloved, my mind blossoms forth in abundance. Bhai Sahib was in prison. and he was kept in solitary confinement, Kal Kotri, which you call it, which is a small area which you can't lie down, and you're kept in this darkness. There's no windows. Paisa was kept there for 8 years, and once a Christian priest comes, as they used to do visits. In British India, the padres or the Christian priests, they used to come and do inspections. And in the inspections, like we have nowadays, we have members of the public who do inspections of prisons to make sure the prisoner welfare is being delivered. So the Christian priest comes there to look at the welfare of the prisoners, whether they're being treated okay, humanely. And he looks at the logbook and he sees the name of Rantir Singh, and Rantir Singh is mentioned that he has been kept in solitary confinement, Kal Kotri vich rakhe gaye. And when he looks at the period of time, it's indefinite. There's no time limit. And when he looks at the log, he's been there for 8 years. And the rules were that you weren't allowed to be there. I think it was 2 days or something. I remember 2 days. You're not more than 2 days. You're not allowed to be kept in solitary confinement. And the reason given is that the person could go mental. And Paisa was kept there for 8 years, and he was only allowed to come out for, I think if I remember correctly from his autobiography, about 30 minutes, half an hour, and that's for him just to call of nature and to cook his own food. He would cook his food, call of nature, and then he would go back inside the dark, in the dungeon. The Christian priest said that I wish to meet this Sikh gentleman, I wish to meet him. And they said, oh no, he's, it's from the ruling's been given from up above that this guy should be kept. He goes, no, this guy shouldn't be in solitary confinement. Get him out. No, the judgment's been given from high authorities that he should be kept. He's dangerous. I don't care if he's dangerous. I want to see him. And so he's brought out. Rantir Singh goes in the sun. He's standing in the courtyard of the prison of that particular block, and he's standing straight with the sun on him. And the priest is standing in the shade, and the priest says, can you please come here? He felt the sun was too hot, and he was actually burning his skin. And yet he said, this man is standing in the burning sun like it's not affecting him. Faisal comes and they have a conversation, and he explains that my name is Rantir Singh, and they have this conversation. And he asks him, he goes, how many are you? How many of you are there in your cell? How many of you are there in your cell? And he said, there is 2 of us. There's 2. Do jane. And the prison guard said, he is lying. Jhoot bol raha hai. He is lying. And the Christian priest said, he is a Sikh. A Sikh never lies. In British India, even when I went to Kenya, the Kenyans, they were telling me that even during British Raj or British rule in Kenya, wherever there was a Sikh, wherever there was someone from a Sikh background was a practicing Sikh, Amritari Sikh, their eyewitness or their statement was considered truth, unchallenged, because there was no one that Sikh would not lie. Well, that was in the past, but nowadays, obviously, you have many types of people. But in British India, and even when Kenya was ruled by the British, Sikhs, their statements in the court were given very high regard. So the Christian priest said, I know Sikhs, and a Sikh of the Guru will never lie. So this man must be telling the truth. And he goes, no, this guy is lying. I'm telling you, look on the logbook, it's only this guy. So then he asks him, he goes, okay, tell me. And he describes the Christian, he sees Paisa and he sees him smiling. This is a picture taken after he comes out of prison, so he's probably younger then. And he sees him smiling and a glow on his face, a glow, a light on his face, light radiating from him. And he says, who is in the cell with you? So he's quite in high spirits, not depressed or anything, not mental like you'd expect someone to be after 8 years of being solitary confinement. You probably get mad if you're in your own bedroom for like, a full day. You'd get like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, it's crazy. And he then sings a Shabad. He sings a hymn, a divine hymn from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And he sings the Shabad, Gur mera sang sada hai nale, simar simar tasda smale. That my Guru, God is with me, Guru is with me, and he is always with me. Simar simar tasda smale, my Guru, the divine, when I remember him, I cherish him. He is with me. And he's really glowing, buzzing, and like on a high. 8 years been in there, and he's like looking like nothing's happened to him. And the Christian guy, the priest, is totally shocked. And then the story goes on that the Christian guy tries it himself, of locking himself in the car court in the solitary confinement. Read the book, you can find the full details. But when, as he goes, put me in this, and I want to test this out as well. Because he saw this guy's works, so let me see. And when the priest goes in, Bhai Sahib tells him, by the way, there's a rope in the corner. He tells him which corner, because there's a rope there. If you get a bit claustrophobic, just pull the rope, a bell there, and then the guards will get you out. He goes, thanks for the tip. He goes there, and in the book, I think it was just about a few minutes, or 50, I think about 5-10 minutes, if I remember correctly. And the guy pulls he goes, can't breathe, get me out of here. And then he falls at the feet of Bhai Sahib Ranveer Singh and says, blessed are you and blessed is your Guru, that you experience the divine, and that the divine is with you. So these are testimonies of those who experienced, and their personal experience of Vaheguru. Those who didn't talk about God but immersed themselves in God. One thing, like I said, a Sikh is not bothered about proving God. A Sikh is not wishes to get in arguments whether someone believes and try to convince someone about believing in God. Sikh Guru actually tells us to stay away from these things. Sikh is something that you should personally enjoy, and Guru says you have this experience. One thing is Sarab Sukh, Anand, Mangal, Rasman, Gobind, Agyo. Sadhguru says, all peace, joy, happiness and pleasures have come since I surrendered to the will of Vaheguru, the Lord of the universe. Since I've surrendered to Vaheguru, then these things I've experienced. And one thing is that those who do follow the spiritual path, those who have followed the teachings of the Guru, to go through that process, one thing is you always note a radiance about these people. Again, it's something, if you've come across Sikhs like this, or even not just Sikhs themselves, it could be of any religion, when you come across spiritual personalities, genuine spiritual personalities, the people who have genuinely done spiritual effort, you see a glow within them. You see this radiance. There's a radiance about them. When you see their lives, they're very joyful. They're very happy. And no one can take this away from them. So it's something like, oh, it's not something about doing these calculations, saying, I can prove God won this and doing this. It's not about this. These people went through this process of surrendering to Guru, following Guru's teachings, and then they've taken Amrit, and they've got now, this is the Sikh process which Guru's shown us, and then they've done what Guru asked them. And by doing this, their lives got full of the things which I think most people are looking for, which is Sarva Sukh, not one Sukh, not one peace, all peace, Anand. Anand means the bliss, like ecstasy. Mangal, and how would you get Mangal Rasman, all the pleasures, and Kidda Govinda Agyu. This is by surrendering to Vaheguruji. I'm just going to ending, so I think my time is up, so I've taken, coming towards the end of the talk. This Virji, this young man, I met when I went to Leeds University. There was a talk there, and after the talk, he came up to me and introduced himself. And he introduced himself that I am Dorian Gordon. Dorian Gordon. He introduced himself. And he said, I used to be the president of the Sikh Society. And I looked at him and go, doesn't look like the president of the Sikh Society. And he goes, I started the Sikh Society in Leeds University. And I thought, strange. Nothing wrong if he did, fantastic, good on it. I thought, that's very strange. Then I asked him his background. I goes, can I ask what's your background? And he said, I'm French. He had like a French accent. He goes, I'm French. And I said, okay. I said, can you tell me how did it come you started the Sikh Society? Well, I was really interested. Or can you tell me a bit about your background? And he explained to me about his background, which was really, really interesting. And what I asked him to do afterwards, I said, can you do me a favour? I said, could you please email your story to me so I can share with people? Do you mind? and it was very nice, and he actually shared it. So he's doing a PhD in Japanese. I think he's already done it, and he's doing some extra course. So he's spent quite a lot of years in Japan. He's from France, he's French national, and he's spent time in Japan. He's done a Japanese PhD, and now he's in Calcutta at the moment in East India. So he's emailed his story, and at the moment he's growing his case. He's not. This is an old picture of him. He's growing his case now. He's keeping his. He's not cutting his hair, and his lifestyle's changed. His lifestyle is adopted the Sikh lifestyle, and he's preparing himself. He said for Amrit. He told me that on tour, I'm preparing myself for Amrit, and I said, wow. When I saw him, he was like that, and then since then he's kept his case and he's followed the Sikh lifestyle. I'll take on that's the ending of the little thing he sent me, the article he sent me. I thought it was really interesting. So he was an atheist, just to let you know. His parents, they're from France, and as you probably know, it's a secular country, and most people that don't believe in religion, or religion does have the same status standing as in this country. His parents were atheists as well, and he's brought up to that there is no God, and those who believe in a God, there's no such thing. They're just making it up. So he said they were quite fundamentalist atheists. His parents, he said, they were journalists, and he explains how they experienced Sikhi. His experience with Sikhi was not from him. It started from his parents. I'm just going to read key things because I understand my time. But if you give permission, I'm just going to. Is that good to? It won't take that long just to share. This is a page I'm going to read. He says, although I was not born into a Sikh family or even an Indian one, I grew up listening to stories of ancient Hindu epics such as Ramayana and stories of about the legendary bravery of the greatest warriors ever, the Nahang Lions of the Punjab. My mother is French and my father is English, and I've been living in France most of my life. My father's ancestors were in India during the days of the Raj, and my great-grandfather, who was a soldier, fought in the Anglo-Pathan Wars. After leaving the army, he got married to a Punjabi girl called Amrita. My ancestors have therefore had a direct relationship to Sikhi, and perhaps this is how I discovered it. So even though he's had this link, he was an atheist, and his parents were atheists as well. In the 1980s, my parents lived in New Delhi for 5 or 6 years. In 1984, my father, who was a journalist at the time, was sent to Punjab to write about the infamous Operation Blue Star, the army operation when the Indian government sent soldiers and destroyed the Golden Temple, as the Westerners know it, Sri Harmandir Sahib. He carries on and says, he was sent to Punjab to write about the infamous Operation Blue Star. I've been told about the massacre of the Sikhs that followed Indira Gandhi's assassination, and this profoundly touched me as a child. How could such peace-loving people, who have always been willing to lay down their life for justice, be targeted as terrorists and treated in such horrendous ways, he writes. I also could not understand why Sikhs were portrayed as comedians in almost all Hindi films, and so many jokes were told about them. Why are they shown so much disrespect? The reason for this is that they do not dress or act like other people. They are not afraid to stand up for what they believe in, to wear their turban with pride and dignity, and to live according to their own standards, not to blindly follow vain fashions and trends like most people in the superficial world that we live in. A true Sikh concentrates on pleasing God and serving mankind, and not on his or her physical appearances or selfish desires. For me, Sikhs are a beacon of hope in this world of materialism and godlessness. Then he carries on and says what inspired him. He goes, the exemplary lifestyle of Sikhs has always inspired me, and although I have not started wearing the 5Ks, which I hope to do one day with the Guru's grace, I try to adopt as many aspects of Sikhi into my life, such as Naam and Japji. So doing Vaheguru Guru Mantra Simran, Vaheguru Japana, chanting Vaheguru, and Japji Savda Path. Although I have not touched alcohol or tobacco my whole life, who knows, perhaps this was a sign. But I try to give up eating meat and other bad habits. I keep a beard, but leaving my hair uncut is still a challenge which will take some time to overcome. I guess I'm still afraid of being different. It's amazing that despite being the world's youngest religion, Sikh history is so rich and contains so many great heroes and martyrs compared to other faiths. Reading about these saints has changed my life, because though their amazing sacrifices, I discovered the strength and power of faith. When I'm in trouble or in a difficult situation, I feel afraid or tempted to abandon, I try to remember the great heroes of Sikhi, such as Baba Deep Singh, Banda Singh, or the Sahibzade who showed exceptional courage in the face of adversity. What better role models than them? Just to add to that, I asked him, how did you find out about Sikhi, by the way? How did you find out about the Sikh religion? I was really interested, coming from an atheist background. And just sharing this, just to give some inspiration, a bit of something, a bit of push on the spiritual path sometimes for those who are Sikhs here. He said that he was in Leeds and he couldn't find any books on Sikhi, he couldn't find any books on the Sikh faith. So he found out from somebody that the Sikh Missionary Society, a shop in Southall, sells books on Sikh history and Sikh faith. And he said he took a coach all the way from Leeds to Southall just to buy a few books on Sikhi. That's the amount of effort he went to, and he said the coach journey was about 6-7 hours. And when he just said that, I'm like, wow. We sometimes get a bit lazy, just like, okay, click, can't be bothered, book, being a bit lazy. I thought, wow, 7 hours. It even made me kind of inspired, I think perhaps I need to do more as well. Just think there's the last part which he's written here. Sikhi is more than a religion, is a wonderful and perfect way of life which leads the Supreme Being to Vaheguru, who is the Lord of all creation. It is a complete religion with a simple message that anyone can understand and follow. It matters not whether one is born into a family of scholars or into a family of farmers. Sikhi teaches people to respect everybody, irrespective of one's social class or ethnic background. In fact, this is one of the first things that attracted me to Sikhi, to the Sikh religion. The beautiful message of love, respect and tolerance that the 10 Gurus taught the world. Born in a time when religion was in decline, when Muslims hated Hindus and when Brahmins hated the so-called low castes, Guru Nanak's divine mission was to remind mankind that it matters not what religion one follows, or what family one is born into. He carries on and says, it matters not whether one is dark or fair, or whether one is female or male. We are all brothers and sisters and equally the children of God. Therefore, Sikhi is unique in the way that he emphasizes a beautiful word that unfortunately the world has forgotten. Equality. There is no other religion which regards all mankind as equals, as brothers and sisters. Usually Muslims would regard their fellow Muslims as a family, and in the same way Christians would regard their fellow Christians as brothers and sisters. For those who are outside the faith, there is no salvation. But Sikhi preaches an unconditional love for all mankind. Irrespective, just to this person's viewpoint, so I'm just reading from his perspective, just to clarify. Irrespective of religion, nationality, race, caste or creed, it is duty of all Sikhs to save humanity selflessly and to disregard any differences between men. According to the religion of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the blessed Lord is born within and beyond his creation. He resides within all living creatures, and this is what makes creation so beautiful. To serve humanity is to serve God. And one cannot love God if one does not love his fellow man. As the saying goes, if one cannot see God in all, he cannot see God at all. This is what beautiful, unique about the Sikh Dharam. It is a humanist religion which teaches love and brotherhood. What the Gurus taught us is very relevant to it today. And I believe that anybody can learn from Sikhi in the same way that the Sikh Gurus learned from others. When people force their religion on you, it's difficult to accept it. And that's one thing Sikhs are never proselytize, and nor do we go out to seek converts. If someone wishes to embrace Sikh religion, that's up to them, but we don't go out to proselytize actively or to tell people to convert. That's not what a Sikh does, or the Guru has told us to do. But when people are happy and teach you about their religion, but without trying to trick you into converting, you feel much more comfortable and willing to learn. This is what led me away from Christianity and Islam and led me towards Sikhi. I explored various faiths, including the 3 religions of the book. Each of these religions teach truths, such as love thy neighbour as yourself, which is an ideal belief in Sikhi, but also other falsehoods. For example, I was told by a Christian that if I do not accept Jesus as my saviour, I would go to hell. I was told by Muslims that if I do not accept Muhammad as Allah's final messenger, I would go to hell. How can this be true? According to their way of thinking, it's more important to follow these dogmas than be a good person. For example, many Christians believe that if a non-Christian is good and kind to others, compassionate and generous, he will still go to hell if he does not believe in Jesus. Similarly, many Muslims believe that even if good people, they can go to hell if they do not believe in Muhammad as the final messenger. This can lead to arrogance and hatred. And it's what Sikhi, on the other hand, teaches a beautiful idea that all paths lead to God. God is like a vast, infinite ocean, and all faiths and creeds are like rivers. Like all rivers lead to the ocean, all religions lead to the eternal being. Sikhs believe that all souls are divine. Because our personal souls, Atma, and part of the Supreme Soul, Vaheguru. Therefore, compassion, loving kindness are the essence of the true religion, not rituals or dogmas which come second. And this is the case in Sikhi, as illustrated by the great Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, who sacrificed his own life for another religion. This is because he did not see them as Hindus and as Pandits or Kashmiris. He saw them as fellow human beings, as God's children, and they needed his help. Because I'm forever grateful, the last line, I'm forever grateful to the Lord that he made me discover Sikhi. Nothing has been in coincidence. I feel that Vaheguru has led me to Sikhi and is according to his will, and that everything had already been planned by the Master of Life. Once I began studying the Sikh religion, I simply could not stop, and I've fallen in love with Sikhi thanks to God. And thanks to Sikhi, I've fallen in love with God. Sikhi has taught me how to live my life as a good human being and as a humble servant of mankind. I pray to Vaheguru for helping me in following the path of the blessed Gurus, and that one day I can become a true Sikh and a member of the Khalsa Panth. This is the ending. So that was just from Dorian Gordon, who was a French atheist who found Sikhi. I just want to end that. That's the essence of Sikhi. That Sikhi is not about forcing your views on others. Sikhi is not about me trying to convert people or make you think my way. Sikhi Guru says that we are not into making other people accept this belief. Sikhi just says, this is what Guru says, try it out yourself. And just to the last thing before I come to an end is this example which I was talking to a Gursik, and I found it as a nice example to end with. He said that this is a glass of milk, and this looks like an ordinary glass of milk, yeah, bog standard glass of milk. But I said that it's a sweet milk in there. Yeah, I put some milkshake in there. It's milkshake in there and it's sweet. Mittha dudh kind of there's some sweetness put into it. And you go looking at it, you can't see there's some sweetness in there. Looking at it, you don't know whether milkshake's been put in there. Because what will you have to do? What do you have to do to see if it's sweet? Taste it. And this is the last one Guru says as well. This time we start with what Guru says and end with what Guru says. Jinni chakiya tini saad paya, bin chake param pulaya. Don't get entangled in arguments and debates. This is what Sikhi says. Sikhi, Guru Nanak criticized the other scholars of the time, the people who had these religious debates. Said, life is not about debates and having arguments with people. Just get on with life. Agree to disagree. Just say God bless you and still treat them with love and respect. This is what Sikhi tells us. And Guru says, those who have tasted it, they enjoy its flavour. Without tasting it, they wander in doubt, lost and deceived. This is the taste. So this is what Guru says. It's about personal experience for Guru's grace, and Guru's given us a process by following Guru's teachings. That's what we see Guru Granth Sahib Ji and what the Panch Pyare give us. So Purchi Kima Karni hai. So I've tried to keep within the time limit of 1 hour. So thanks and sorry again for being slightly bits of traffic. So Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Are there any question or about Sikhi? Anyone would like to ask something? About, I can only try to answer about what try to anyway about Guruji. Hanji Bhai Sahib Ji.
Yeah, Sikh stand for student
Hanji.
of spiritual knowledge,
Hanji.
where God is the teacher.
Hanji.
All right. Now, Sikh, you receive the Sikhi, or the preaching, or teaching, you can call it, from Akal Purukh, through Gur Prasad. Gur means formula to find something, and Prasad means the result of the applying formula, then you get the result. All right. So the Gur could be called logical reasoning. Okay, now Sikh is a student of spiritual knowledge. Never born, never died. How many Sikhs died during 1984 riots?
Sikh is a follower of the Jot Gur Shabad. Sikh is the follower not of a Sikh. Sikh a Sikh is a follower of not another Sikh. Is given Guru Nanak Pasha is not the physical body of Guru Nanak which was Guru. The Guru is the Shabad. The Shabad, the Gurjot, that is what the Sikh follows. But that's what Sikh follows. Sikh follows Guru Shabad, the light of God and the message of God, the word of God which came from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and Sikh not through not anything else. Anyone else question?
Could be on anything, not just does
Or
God
just
exist.
general about Sikh,
Just
anyone?
anything that you want to learn about Sikhs.
Do you know,
Yeah,
I'd be-
I have a
I'd be
question,
great to
actually,
make
yeah. There's 5 gurus, yeah? From the very beginning we saw the cartoon, and we saw as the guru was growing up, God was coming into his life, he was praying. Now, if you go back thousands of years and you've got the Moses and you've got the Abrahams, they were chosen by God, exactly the same principle as the gurus. Why do you call them gurus and not prophets?
In our long, Guru means Gur meaning darkness, Ru meaning light. So in our tradition, one who brings us from lightness to darkness, we call them Guru. Someone who brings lightness, so spiritual enlightenment in your life, the enlightenment is called Guru. So because the Guru brings enlightenment to us, that's why in our tradition we call them Guru and not prophet. That's the reason, because we enlightenment. Because for us, as my person, that's my enlightenment, so we call it Guru. Any other question? I'll stay around enough to go because it's a bit of a long journey, but I'll stay around after if anyone got any question. If anyone wants any books, the books like Baba Harnampur's book, Sikh Kanhaiya, so that's a nice easy book in English you can read, finding out some like a glimpse of spirituality in the Sikh religion. So again, thank you for inviting me to give this seva. May Guru Maharaj bless all of us with the gift of experiencing Vaheguruji and Vaheguruji being part of our lives. May Vaheguruji bless all humanity. Vaheguruji ka khalsa, Vaheguruji ki fateh.
Thank you for that talk, and thank you all, you guys for